that Obama is looking for a really teddy bear soft target. And he has found that soft target in this whole business of outsourcing, because he knows that it's the Indian government is not going to, cry foul over it. We are not going to make loud noises over it. We have been fairly, as far as America has been concerned, conciliatory over a period of time. And hence, perhaps that's why people feel, and since yesterday people from Infosys have been saying at other companies that companies can't fight, this is the government which must do something. Sam Pitroda is joining the debate. This is getting interesting. Swami, stay on. Sam Pitroda is joining us now from New Delhi. Mr. Pitroda, welcome. Everyone's saying here is the government which must do something. What will the government do?
I have no idea. I don't think I know enough about the issue to say government should do or should not do. The only thing I could say is I think we are overreacting to this whole issue. I believe there is a lot more to do at home and abroad. I believe we need to rise up the value chain. And if US decided in one area to do something, that's okay, let's move on and not get too hung up on these things. But that's my view, personal view.
But is that, do you think that can be the government view? When it is Indian jobs, isn't it the job of the Indian government to defend Indian industry?
I don't know that. I don't think it's a question of defending or not defending at this point in time. I'm sure government will look at it and respond to it in the right time.
Okay, I just want to get the other perspective, since you're joining the debate now, Mr. Pitroda. I want Bikram Dasgupta to address you directly and on what really the industry concerns are. Bikram Dasgupta heads PCL. He's joining us from Kolkata. Go ahead, Mr. Dasgupta. Maybe you'd make your point directly to Sam Pitroda as we take the debate forward.
First of all, I did not know what this debate is all about.
I personally...
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. I think, Arnab, one important point to note is when you start things like this in Ohio, as Swami said, is one of the most affected on unemployment exercise. If I'm not mistaken, their unemployment level is at the level of 18%. And so obviously there is catering to the constituency issue which is happening here. I agree with Mr. Pitroda when he says that we perhaps are overreacting. At times, overreaction is in a way good, because you can nip things in the bud if you overreact, and we should not allow these kind of rhetorics to continue to affect, as Subrata said, the psychological aspect of outsourcing.
Right.
It is not so much the legalities as much as it's a psychological aspect of outsourcing.
Mr. Pitroda, would you like to respond? That's been the general sentiment, the fear that unless we make a noise about it, it will get worse.
It's somebody's view. I don't agree with that view, but that's okay. That's a view. Fine. So big deal.
You don't feel it is important that Mr. Obama is going from state to state talking about the dangers of outsourcing?
Look, everyone has their own perception on this topic. I personally believe we are overreacting. And I continue to believe that. And that's all there is to it. Okay? I mean, everybody's trying to drag into controversy, but and you're trying to make big news out of it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is that big of a deal. Look, a country of 1.2 billion people generates $60 billion worth of export out of software and services. Same country is perhaps importing $100 billion worth of hardware in electronics, from television set to computers and all that. So if there's a little bit of glitch here and there, that's okay. There is so much work at home. The broadband challenge at home is so very big. Applications for education, applications for health, applications for governance. There is just a lot of work around.
Sure.
And if one little piece somewhere else is being cut off, if somebody's one little piece of order is gone, it's okay, move on.
I'm just drawing a comparison, Mr. Pitroda. I completely appreciate your having that view. I'm just drawing a comparison. Recently, allow me, sir. Recently, you are the American Deputy National Security Advisor openly lobbying for Union Carbide. We know exactly, as far as the nuclear liability bill is concerned, that the American government is putting pressure down to the last T, full stop and comma, only for American corporates, so they are defending American industry. But we don't seem to quite have that, the same view. There is a stark contrast. That's the simple point I make. I think Swami wanted to make a point there. Yes, go ahead, Swami.
No, to say the Indian government is doing nothing for the Indian industry is ridiculous. I mean, you find, for instance, the Indian industry has been complaining about cheap imports of Chinese power equipment. And probably we have decided that there is going to be an import duty and a countervailing duty and a special duty. I mean, the fact that India has the largest number of anti-dumping suits in the whole world, and most of those are acted on. I mean, so let's not say the government of India is doing nothing. Let's not pretend Indian industry just sits back and acts like a punching bag. That is not the case. I'm merely saying, I think Sam Pitroda is absolutely right. This is a very limited problem, a limited issue. Nothing is achieved. Now, if as a rhetorical gesture you want to put a protest, go ahead. Both sides will understand that this is mainly play acting, because it is a very small and limited issue. A bigger issue than this, in fact, I think, is the totalization agreement, which Obama may be talking about when he comes. I mean, the situation today is that when Indian software engineers go to the USA and work there for some time, out of their salary, a certain amount is deducted as social security taxes. Now, if you live in America for 10 years and work, you will get some social security. If you don't, all the Indian social security taxes are just confiscated, the USA keeps it. Now there is a proposal to have a totalization agreement whereby both countries agree that wherever there is any such deduction for old age, that will not be kept by that government.
I take your view.
If we achieve that totalization agreement, I mean, that to my mind is a more important issue.
I take your view. Only simple point is, and I want a third perspective to come in from Subroto Bagchi. Point is, let's look at it like this. India's sunrise industry, which is being directly affected by American politics. Should the Indian government respond, or is it, as Sam Pitroda saying, it's not a big deal at all? We're making too much of a noise about something. Let me get in Subroto Bagchi. You've heard both points of view. Mr. Bagchi, jump right in.
If you take a 30,000 feet view, then it is a non-issue. Or if you think that time is infinite, then it is a non-issue, because at the end of the day, everything will move on. But I run a company, and I know that my colleagues run their companies, and we all know that in the last 4 presidents that have come and gone, here we are starting a presidency with conversation about Buffalo versus Bangalore. So what message, what signal are we giving to people working in the administration? What message have we given to the INS? What message have we given to the people who stamp the visa for our people and who give the I-94s on the ports of arrival? So I think, I won't agree that we can be placid about it. And I think we need to stand up for our rights, and we need to say facts as they are. And I think other countries do a reasonably good job. I'm not saying that we need to match rhetoric for rhetoric, but we need to say, hey, let's all grow up and let us all talk facts. Let's, beyond a point, not talk about India and outsourcing as if that is equal to the root cause of all the unemployment problems in the United States. Any economist will tell you that it is the farthest from the truth as it can be.
Okay. Swami, Mr. Pitroda, would you like to respond?
No, I don't think I have much to say.
I don't think any of us is disagreeing. Let us by all means make some kind of protest. Let us not just completely ignore this. I'm merely saying that, on a limited issue, you make a protest. It's understood by both sides that this is not such a big issue. This is part of the diplomatic normal procedures that, we have something to say that when somebody else is affecting our trade. I'm merely saying by all means go ahead, by all means register your protest, but at the end of it all, the fact that you protested shouldn't be confused with thinking it's a big issue.
Okay. Well, there are 2 very strong perspectives which have emerged. And that's great. Mr. Petroda, Swaminathan Iyer from Washington, Bikram from Kolkata, and of course, thank you very much, Subrata Bagchi, for joining me from Bhubaneswar tonight. Thank you so much indeed, gentlemen, for that debate on the News Hour. And I will see you again tomorrow,
Thank you.
same time, with more news and the relevant debate. For now, good night. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.